The lights just went out, and right now, in houses across your neighborhood, people are making the exact same dangerous mistakes that have hurt more blackout victims than the actual power failure itself. You think I'm being dramatic? During the 2003 Northeast blackout, mortality increased by 122% for accidental deaths and 25% for disease-related deaths, resulting in approximately 90 excess deaths. These weren't people who got struck by lightning or crushed by falling power lines. These were regular folks who suffered because they did exactly what felt natural in the moment. You see, blackouts don't just end the power, they end common sense. They turn rational adults into panicked amateurs who make decisions that seem logical but are actually life-threatening. And the scariest part? You're probably planning to make these same mistakes the second your lights go dark. But here's what separates the survivors from the statistics: knowing what not to do when the grid goes down. Because in a blackout, the wrong move doesn't just inconvenience you, it can seriously hurt you. So let's talk about the 8 things everyone does when the power dies, and why each one could be your biggest mistake. Mistake number 8. Immediately grabbing your phone to check social media and drain your battery. The power cuts out, and what's the first thing 90% of people do? They grab their phone, not to call for help, not to check emergency alerts, but to hop on Twitter and Instagram to post about the blackout. Power's out, LOL, with the candle selfie. They scroll through feeds, looking for updates, refreshing apps that aren't loading, and burning through their battery like it's gonna magically recharge itself from their frustration. Here's the brutal reality. That phone might be your lifeline. In extended outages, cell towers start failing within 4 to 8 hours once their backup batteries die. Your phone becomes your emergency radio, your flashlight, your way to call for help if someone gets hurt. But most people drain their battery in the first hour taking videos of their dark living room. During Hurricane Sandy, rescue teams reported countless cases where people couldn't call for help because they drained their phones posting updates about losing power. Think about that. They had a direct line to emergency services and they traded it for social media engagement. The smart move? The second the power dies, put that phone on airplane mode and preserve the battery. Only use it for essential communication and emergency information. Download offline maps while you still have signal. Turn off Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and location services. Your phone isn't entertainment anymore, it's survival equipment. This is exactly the kind of preparedness mindset that saved people in the 70+ real-world projects detailed in No Grid Survival Projects, where they learned that every modern device becomes precious when the grid fails. Mistake number 7. Rushing to start your car to charge devices and wasting precious fuel. When people realize their phone is dying, panic sets in. So they make their second terrible decision. They run out to their car, fire it up, and start charging everything they can find. Phone, tablet, laptop, even their kids' Nintendo Switch. They sit there for hours with the engine running, burning through gas to keep their devices alive. But here's what they don't realize. In a widespread blackout, gas stations can't pump fuel. Those pumps need electricity, and most stations only have enough backup power for a few hours, if any. During the 2021 Texas freeze, thousands of people burned through their entire fuel tank in the first day trying to stay warm and charge devices, then found themselves stranded when they needed to evacuate to warming centers. You're essentially trading your mobility, your ability to escape danger, for the convenience of keeping your iPad charged. And for what? So you can watch Netflix until the internet goes down too? Here's the reality check. Your car is your escape pod, not your entertainment center. That fuel could be the difference between making it to safety and being stranded when you need to leave. Use your car's charging ports sparingly and only for critical devices like phones. Better yet, invest in a portable battery bank that can charge your essential devices without touching your fuel supply. The professionals who wrote No Grid Survival Projects understand this perfectly.
They show you how to build actual backup power systems that don't depend on burning your emergency fuel.
Mistake number 6. Opening every window for fresh air and destroying your home's thermal envelope. The AC stops working, and people's immediate instinct is to throw open every window in the house. At least we can get some airflow going. They prop open doors, pull back curtains, and basically turn their home into a wind tunnel. It feels refreshing for about 20 minutes. Then reality sets in. What they've actually done is eliminated their home's ability to maintain any stable temperature. In summer, they're letting in hot air that their house will never cool down again without AC. In winter, they're bleeding heat that took hours to build up and can't be replaced without the furnace. Your house becomes whatever temperature it is outside, and you lose all control. During the 2021 Texas freeze, nearly 1/3 of customers statewide lost power. Many of the casualties occurred because people lost control of their indoor temperature by making these exact mistakes in the critical first hours. They opened windows when the house was still warm, and by the time they realized their error, their homes had dropped below freezing. The right approach depends on the season and time of day. In winter, keep everything sealed tight and focus on insulating one small area. In summer heat, only open windows at night when outside temperature drops below indoor temperature. Then seal everything up again before dawn. Your house is a thermal battery. Don't drain it thoughtlessly. Mistake number 5. Immediately eating all the good stuff from the fridge before it spoils. The power goes out and people think, well, this steak is gonna go bad anyway, might as well have a feast. They fire up the barbecue grill, pull out all the expensive meat and dairy, and have themselves a blackout party. Ribeye steaks, premium ice cream, that fancy cheese they were saving, all consumed in the first few hours because it'll just spoil otherwise. But here's the problem. They're operating under the assumption that the power will be back soon, and they're consuming their highest calorie, highest nutrition food first. What happens when the outage stretches into day 2, 3, or longer? They're left with crackers and canned beans while their neighbors who plan better are still eating nutrient-dense protein. The USDA says a full freezer will keep food safe for 48 hours if you keep the doors shut. A refrigerator will keep food cold for about 4 hours. That expensive steak could have fed your family for 2 more days if you'd managed it properly instead of panic consuming it on day 1. The smarter strategy: eat perishables strategically. Start with dairy, move to fresh vegetables, then fresh meat, and save frozen items for last. Cook only what you can eat immediately, and for the love of all that's holy, stop opening the fridge every 5 minutes to check on things. You're accelerating the spoilage of everything inside. This kind of food preservation knowledge is crucial. It's why No Grid Survival Projects dedicates entire sections to emergency food storage and preservation methods that work when your fridge becomes useless. Mistake number 4. Using candles everywhere and turning your home into a fire trap. The lights go out and suddenly everyone becomes a fire hazard. They light candles in every room, on top of TVs, near curtains, on coffee tables where kids or pets can knock them over. They use whatever candles they can find, those decorative ones that aren't meant for long-term burning, birthday candles stuck in random holders, even makeshift oil lamps made from cooking oil and paper towels. The National Fire Protection Association reports that candles cause more than 7,600 house fires annually in the US, and blackouts are prime time for these numbers to spike. During the 2003 Northeast blackout, multiple families lost their homes to fires started by improperly used emergency lighting. They survived the blackout, but lost everything because they treated open flames like they were as harmless as light bulbs. Think about it. You're placing multiple open flames around your house. When emergency response times are delayed, fire trucks might have trouble navigating dark streets, and you can't rely on smoke alarms that need electricity to warn you about them. You're essentially risking everything with your house. LED flashlights and battery lanterns provide better light, last longer, and won't burn your house down. A $15 LED lantern can illuminate a room for 100+ hours on one set of batteries. If you must use candles, use them strategically, 1 per room maximum, in sturdy holders, on non-flammable surfaces, away from anything that can catch fire. This is exactly why the veterans and survival experts behind No Grid Survival Projects teach you how to build proper emergency lighting systems that don't put your family at risk. Mistake number 3. Assuming your neighbors are handling it fine and isolating yourself.
When the power goes out, most people's instinct is to hunker down alone. They close their doors, light their candles, and wait it out by themselves. The neighbors are probably fine. Everyone knows what to do in a blackout, right? Wrong. Dead wrong. Community networks are what separate neighborhoods that handle blackouts well from neighborhoods that become disaster zones. During major outages, the safest blocks are always the ones where neighbors check on each other, share resources, and coordinate responses. The dangerous blocks are the ones where everyone assumes everyone else is fine. That elderly couple next door, they might be on medical equipment that just stopped working. The single mom across the street, she might not have batteries for her flashlight and is sitting in the dark with scared kids. The guy with diabetes down the block, he might need to keep his insulin cool and doesn't know how. Research from Yale and Johns Hopkins shows that power outages significantly increase both accidental and disease-related health emergencies. Many of these incidents are preventable with simple community coordination, sharing ice, checking on vulnerable neighbors, pooling resources like battery-powered radios for emergency information. The first hour of a blackout is when you should be knocking on doors, not hiding behind yours. Create a quick neighborhood check-in system, share phone numbers, identify who has medical needs, who has generators, who has supplies to spare. Isolated households become casualties. Connected neighborhoods become survivors. Mistake number 2. Drinking and treating the blackout like a party opportunity. Nothing says, "I don't understand the gravity of this situation," like cracking open a beer the moment the lights go out. But it happens constantly. People treat blackouts like unexpected holidays. They light candles for ambiance, open a bottle of wine, and settle in for a romantic evening without power. When's the last time we just sat and talked without our phones? Alcohol impairs your judgment, slows your reflexes, and reduces your body's ability to regulate temperature. In a situation where you might need to move quickly, make critical decisions, or respond to emergencies, being impaired is potentially dangerous. During the Texas freeze, emergency rooms saw cases of people who made serious mistakes because alcohol clouded their thinking during critical moments. Plus, alcohol dehydrates you. In a blackout where you might lose access to clean water, dehydration becomes a compounding problem. Your kidneys work harder, you need more water, and you become more vulnerable to heat or cold stress. The first 24 hours of any blackout are when most preventable incidents occur. That's not party time. That's when you need to be sharp, alert, and ready to respond to changing conditions. Save the celebrations for when the lights come back on and you know everyone made it through safely. Mistake number 1. Waiting to see how bad it gets before taking any action. This is the big one, the mistake that underlies all the other mistakes. The moment the power goes out, most people adopt a wait-and-see approach. It'll probably be back in a few minutes. No point in doing anything drastic yet. They sit in the dark, maybe light a candle, and just wait. They wait to fill water containers. They wait to charge devices. They wait to check on neighbors. They wait to secure their home. They wait to gather supplies. They wait until they're sure this is serious before they start acting like it's serious. But here's the brutal truth. By the time you know it's serious, you've lost your window to prepare. The stores are mobbed or closed. The gas stations have run out of fuel. The cell towers are failing. The emergency services are overwhelmed. You've gone from being ahead of the curve to being behind it. And that position change can be dangerous. In August 2003, over 50 million Americans and Canadians lost power for up to 4 days. The people who fared best weren't the ones who had the most supplies. They were the ones who acted immediately, treating the first hour like it might be their last chance to prepare properly. The correct approach is assume this blackout will last 72 hours minimum. Act accordingly from minute 1. Fill every container with water. Charge every device. Secure your home. Check your supplies. Connect with neighbors. Gather emergency information. Better to overreact to a 30-minute outage than underreact to a week-long crisis. Because here's what history teaches us. The people who survive extended blackouts aren't the ones who were best prepared before the power went out. They're the ones who used that first golden hour most effectively after it went dark. They're the ones who acted while everyone else waited. Every minute you spend in wait-and-see mode is a minute your neighbors are getting ahead of you at the store, at the gas station, at the ATM. It's a minute the situation is getting worse while you're not getting better prepared to handle it. This is exactly why I always recommend no-grid survival projects to anyone serious about preparedness. This comprehensive guide contains over 70 step-by-step projects that teach you how to become completely self-sufficient when the grid goes down. From building your own backup power systems to emergency water harvesting, food preservation, and home defense, it covers everything you need to know to protect your family during extended blackouts. And here's the best part. You're covered by a full 60-day money-back guarantee. You can keep the physical book even if you decide to get a refund. That's how confident they are that this guide will change how you think about preparedness. In a blackout, hesitation hurts. Action saves lives. The choice is yours, but you only get to make it once. The clock starts ticking the second the lights go out. What you do in that first hour determines whether you're a survivor or a statistic. Don't be the person who waits to get serious until it's too late to matter. Get no-grid survival projects today and never again worry about being caught unprepared when the lights go out.